This episode of The Republic is brought to you by Audible. For a free 30-day trial and to get a free audiobook, just head on over to audible.com/GameBreaker. They got Star Wars books.
GameBreaker TV.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to GameBreaker. This is The Republic, episode 139 for May 30th, 2013. I'm Gary Gannon. Coming up on today's show, we got not only 2.2, 2.3, and 2.4. My co-host lied to me last week, and do we really not have paid character transfers yet? All that and more, but first, from MassiveLead.com. Mr. Larry Everett, how are you, sir?
I'm well.
All right. Are you like she like you like
Yeah, I have to center myself.
Okay.
Today. That's what it is.
That's because you have kids on summer vacation, isn't it?
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Kids on summer vacation. It's first day, and he's already like, I need to go to yoga. I need to meditate.
He's like, I need to send them to grandma's.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm gonna put some John Tesh
how do I get them to summer camp as soon as possible?
And joining us as always, it's Laura Williams. How are you, Laura?
I'm great, Gary.
Great to see you back.
Thanks.
All right, let's jump into some TOR. So 2.2 is coming out June 11th. And there's a sneak peek of it on the old PTS. Remind me what the caveat is to all of this information. Set in stone,
this
right?
is all final and it's written in stone.
It is, right?
It is happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of it.
100%.
100%. No backseas.
All right, so
no tag backs. That's right. It's done.
check this out. For every 5 active unique accounts in a guild, players are going to receive 1% bonus experience and rep, up to a maximum of 10%. I'm going to go, it's been a long time since I've said this, but I'm going to go, why don't we see this more often? Like, what a great way to encourage guilds and group play, right? This is awesome.
It is. Especially for people who like to level lots of vaults.
Yeah.
On top of
it.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's phenomenal. It's great. Why don't more guilds have this, or more games have this?
On top of that, this is on top of the regular 5% for just being in a guild, right?
Yeah, from everything that I understand, it's on top of the 5%. So,
well, it even says it's on top of the 5%.
Yep.
I know, but it's on PTS.
Make all the friends.
It could all be lies. Who knows? No, right. I think that's a good. That sounds like that's an awesome change, and that's a really good incentive to get players to actually start playing together. We've talked about this on like every Game Breaker show ever, I think. But really, I mean, the strength in MMOs is the social aspect to them, and they're. I know a lot of people do solo, but they are meant to be played with a group of other people and actually have some kind of interaction. So, I mean, pushing, I think, all those free-to-players into guilds is probably the best thing they could do to possibly make them stick around and then also convert them into subscribers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're a free-to-player and you get into a big guild, I mean, it's not exactly 15% because it's 5 on top of 10 on top of 5, so it's not exactly 15%, but it's pretty darn close, and that almost makes up for the deficit that free-to-play players have when they're leveling up. It's about a 20 to 25% deficit as a free-to-play player.
Plus, you're making friends.
Yes, exactly. which is really seriously
why wouldn't you want to play with more people? It's lonely to play by yourself.
A lot of people play MMOs solo. It's kind of crazy. So I've heard numbers of like 60-70% of the players actually play solo, which I guess that's some ridiculous. Of the times. I mean, I definitely play solo sometimes, but like, especially with odd hours with weird times and stuff. But I definitely don't play MMOs to play by myself. I play single player PC games for that reason. So,
and somebody want to explain in the chat room why 5% plus 10% does not equal 15%?
Maths are hard. I learned that last night on maths is difficult. I learned that on Legendary last night. But if you guys watch Legendary, I have this. So apparently that's all I need to figure it out. That's it.
All right, cool.
Now, this is a really big change. Somebody explain the reasoning behind this to me. So, this is a big PvP change. All stun breaks will now have their cooldown reset upon death. I mean, it sounds like it's a huge change, especially for war zones. But what was the reasoning behind this? What was going on?
Well,
go
ahead.
Well, you go into a war zone and you have people that are just throwing short stun, wait for you to use your break, then hit you with a long stun, and then jump you and you're dead. And you can have the option of using your stun break to get out of the short stun or get out of the long stun, and sometimes people don't always make the best choice. And then it's on a 2-minute cooldown, and you're out of luck and dead and in the penalty box.
Is it possible, Laura, that this could possibly make stuns feel like powerless too often though? Like,
I don't know. At first, I was very excited when I read that change, but I hadn't thought of some of the concerns that I came across when I was reading the forums from people who are much more hardcore about PvP than I am. I know one of the things that they said was they're worried that you're going to have too many stalemates, and some objectives are going to be a lot harder to take, such as the doors in SWTOR, the pylons in Hypergate, and the turrets in Civil War.
What do you think, Glad? Does it make sense?
Also,
oh, go ahead, Laura.
Well, I was also going to say they also said it's giving players more incentive to use the /stuck to kill themselves, to just instantly reset to reset their timer on their stun break.
What do you think, Glad? Does it make sense? What do you think?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I can see part of their argument. Maybe I'm missing something in the whole equation, but I don't see in the long term how that's going to be that big a deal. I don't see how. Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay. Let me say this. I think it's a step in the right direction, because one of the things that is really sucks in this game is being stun locked, and also. When you're in the penalty box, you've just broken your stun lock. And most of the time, it's like the resolve system. The resolve system, your bar fills up most of the time when you just died. It's one of those. It's one of those things. This is a kind of a fix to that, because I think they're really starting to realize that the resolve system isn't exactly doing what it's supposed to be doing, and this is one of the ways they want to fix it, or want to try to fix it.
Who do you guys think that this sort of helps more? I mean, this is kind of a hard question. I know neither of you are like super hardcore PvPers, but who do you think this helps more? I mean, really good PvPers or just like the average players?
Oh, I think this definitely goes towards the average. You're looking at, you're definitely looking at people like me. Really, when it comes down to, I mean, honestly, it's somebody who knows enough about their class, but doesn't PvP enough to know to make the exact right decisions at the exact right time. Because basically, this isn't like a get out of jail free card. But the thing is, and this is what he kind of explained in when he was talking about it, was there is no other option. When you are stunned, the only option you have is to stun break, and because it's a limitation. Wait it out. Yeah, or wait it out. It's either which isn't really a choice, especially when you're about dead. You kind of have to break the stun and pop a cooldown or something along that line. And this is kind of when you have no other choice. It's not really your fault if you make the wrong one. That's kind of their philosophy behind it.
So Laura, you were reading. Go ahead. It feels what?
Basically, what they also said was that they feel that dying should be the punishment, not so much the fact that you made the wrong choice to use your stun break.
So you were reading over on the forums and stuff and trying to pick apart some of the other sort of feelings of mine. How do you feel the community is reacting to this change? I mean, it is just on the PTS, so everything could still possibly change.
most people that responded to the thread said kind of the same thing, that they're really concerned that there's just going to end up with a stalemate, that this is a really bad change on paper. They're concerned about the fact with apparently /stuck is a real problem. I had not realized that. I honestly can't say that I've ever seen people do /stuck in Battlegrounds, but again, like I said, I'm not super hardcore. There were a couple of people that said that they have been on the thread or in the PTS and they were doing ranked, and that honestly they didn't feel like it made that much of a difference for the people that were doing ranked.
All right, moving on. Visual improvements to the flamethrower. I know you're all going like, why in the world are you even talking about this? I don't know. The only reason we included this in the show because basically if there was one thing that I think we never, ever, ever complained about was the bounty hunters animations. So, I don't know.
Setting people on fire.
Make them better. All right.
Awesome.
Cool. All right.
More realistic fire.
Underworld, more realistic fire burning. Underworld
you
gear
actually feel the heat off the screen.
I want to see people flailing around.
Underworld gear can be reverse engineered to learn a schematic. What do you think of this? Par for the course?
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's getting to the point with because they're adding a new level of gear. That's kind of the way of things. You're lesser, the lowest on the totem pole becomes the craftable kind, and whereas the other two are you getting raids. So yeah, it's kind of par for the course. And it's definitely in the right direction. I personally, I'm glad to see some of the schematics going to armor smiths and whatnot, because they're pretty awesome. A couple of the especially the trench coat looking ones that the agents have, it's really nice.
Oh,
and
yeah. I steampunk.
I would like to see that. I would like to be able to get that from an armor smith and not have to, win an agent, win a role from an agent or something along that line. So yeah, I think that's great.
Nightmare mode for Terror from Beyond is on the way, and Nightmare mode for Legions of Scum and Villainy is coming in 222. So Raiders, I think you guys are fairly happy with that. Something to look forward to.
There are people are raging on the forums that they're very upset that they're taking away essentially world firsts because they are putting Nightmare mode on the test round, so now people can test it, and they're going to get all the elite strats, and they're going to have it already on farm when it comes out. Yeah, there was a lot of whining. I was like, you know what? I don't even care. Like, first off, I'm not in a world first guild. But even if I was, I would much rather have an instance that's not full of bugs.
Is that a big thing though in SWTOR? is there a really big world first?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
These people were writing very unhappy posts about it.
Yeah, Dustin, who we had on a couple of weeks.
What's the flip side? Is they don't test it, and it's a mess.
Right, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. I don't care if they know it. I don't care if they're making all the videos. I don't care if they roll right in and they have all the gear the first day. If it means that I can go in and work on the fights and not have to deal with tons of bugs, I will be a happy camper.
Well, what's their suggestion to people who are complaining about this in the world first? What would they just don't want it on the PTS whatsoever?
They want it to be secret. They want it to be all internal testing. They don't want anybody to know anything about it. Yeah, that's exactly what was posted.
I guess, I mean, I can see that side of it. If that is your thing, this does kind of, if that's your play toy, if that's the part of the game that you really enjoy, this kind of does destroy that for you.
Then get on the PTS and test it. Seriously, what are you doing? If you're in a world first guild,
no, of course they can do that.
World first guild, what are you doing? What are you doing right now?
They can do that, but what I'm saying is once they go to live servers, like if all the top guilds already know it, basically it's just a race of who can get online the second it's live and just go for it and do it, because then they're just going to destroy it. Now it's not really like, now it's just a race of time, not really any kind of race of strategy whatsoever, and actually like, puzzle solving, so to speak, mechanic solving.
It's going to be world first. Yes.
I don't know. Is there ever really, and I mean, in world first, is there ever? I mean, now, especially with all the testing that has to be done with top level raids and operations and things along that line, is there really a world first that's not a race against time? It's not a time race now.
Yeah, I don't know. You got a point.
You know, if you get on the PTS, you know when the thing launches. That's not a huge secret or anything. You get on the PTS, you test it out, you get everything, you get your strategies down, and then when race time comes, you go. And that's kind of how it works for most every.
This is a rough one. This is a really touchy situation because I can see both sides of it. I can definitely see both sides of it. I can see people who aren't into the world first thing just being like, "Oh, shut up, you cranky internet people." But then it's like, but if they're all sitting there going like, "No, but this is our thing. Like this is what we really like doing. Like this is important to them." So I don't know, and I don't know what the solution would be to that.
I think I appreciate that. And I think that, however, I think that you could. Why doesn't world first on the PTS count? If it's world first, it's world first.
Maybe.
I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. World First Guilds watching the show. Leave us a comment below. Let us know. I'd love to hear the suggestions from people who are entrenched in the World First scene. Actually, what they think is a solution. I don't necessarily. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably going to get a lot of comments about just being the secrecy thing, and it just needs to be secret, and nobody needs to do. But that's not.
I don't have a problem with it being secret. That's awesome, but I don't really have much faith that their internal testing would be able to crank something out that is going to be playable and not full of bugs. I mean, they don't really have a great track record here.
Yeah.
So
that is.
If you guys go in and test it for me so that I can play it without bugs, thank you. Thank you.
Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. Players that replace a lever in a war zone will be given a reinforcement medal to ensure that they get a reward at the end of the match. So wait a minute. Were replacements really getting nothing at all if they arrive too late before?
It depends on how late into the match they get there. Yeah, I've gotten into a match that was a Denova or Novare Coast, and the team that I was on literally just ticked down to 0 as I got out of the gate, and it was over, and I was like, well, that was kind of a waste of time. Mostly because if anyone drops out or disconnects, that Warzone then has the higher priority to fill people back in. So I guess it would be nice if they did that for that, although that's a pretty rare situation that I come across.
On top of that, players will no longer be backfilled into various war zones when they're super close to ending. So that's another big change coming.
Yeah. I'd like to know when that is, more specifically.
They said...
Did they say the close-off time?
I know Puttball, it was... Hold on, let me go look it up real quick.
Are they actually giving you time?
Puttball was after 10 minutes have elapsed, you won't be dropped into it. Denova, if your team has less than 25% on the shield and the other team is 75% or greater, you won't get dropped in. Hypergate will no longer be backfilled after the 4th explosion. Alderaan will no longer be backfilled when one team has twice as many points as the enemy team.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's the
of course, that also kind of negates giving the backfill medal because there's no reason why at those points you shouldn't be able to at least get one.
Yeah. Well, that's good with Alderaan because Alderaan was actually one of the ones I was most concerned about because there is a point in Alderaan that can happen pretty much any time during the match, quite frankly, where one team doubles the other team in score, and once that happens, there's no way to win unless you triple cap, and that rarely happens, where somebody comes back from behind in Alderaan like that. So yeah, I'm glad to see that.
We have some really early details on 2.3, but first I want to tell you guys really quickly about an amazing deal we got going on with Audible. Have you guys checked out Audible? Seriously? They have tons of Star Wars books. Star Wars audiobooks. I got a free 30-day trial.
I have the app on my phone. Does that count?
Yes, it does. It's great. That's a big step. Just go over to audible.com/GameBreaker. Use that URL, and you're going to get a free 30-day trial. Download the app, put it on your phone, or your iPhone, your Android, whatever you got there. And you're also going to get to download a free book. Yes, and they have tons of Star Wars books. Like, let's just see, Larry, Into the Void. Let's see which one's Larry. Larry, have you read Into the Void?
No, that's actually a pretty new one.
Okay, that's a new one.
Yeah, that's the Dawn of the Jedi one.
Heir to the Empire.
Yeah, I read that one.
All right, you read? How's that one? Is it good?
That one's awesome.
It's got a 4.6 rating.
Yeah, it's Timothy Zahn. It's actually that one. Heir to the Empire is the introduction of the extended universe for Star Wars.
Really?
So yeah, that's a classic.
Is that a recommendation coming from Larry Everett?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's a recommendation from every Star Wars fan in existence.
What is the 20th anniversary edition? Do we know what that is?
I don't know if it has anything different in it. Maybe it's a different reader.
Not sure.
I forget who read it. Yeah, I forget who wrote the first one because it's been
there
a
are
long
a ton.
time.
All right, so that's only book one. So this is what, a trilogy? Is this a trilogy? Because I see here's
there's 3 of them.
There's a free excerpt here as well, but you could download the books. There's 3 of them. But look at all these. There's a ton of them on here. All right, so Larry is gonna recommend Heir to the Empire.
Definitely, absolutely. If you have not read Heir to the Empire, you're not a Star Wars fan. That's all I gotta say.
I have not read Heir to the Empire.
I guess I'm not a Star Wars fan.
You got to read it now.
I am going to be downloading it on my phone tonight. I will, because it sounds like it's a good one. So check it out. Go over to audible.com/GameBreaker. Use the URL. Sign up today. Get a free 30-day trial. And you can be downloading Heir to the Empire today. Just be listening to it. And actually, if you guys do check it out next week, I'd love to hear in the comments. Leave a comment. If you guys download that one, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of the book. Or if you had any other recommendations for any of the other books on Audible, Star Wars in particular, leave a comment below. We'll talk about it next week. All right, so we've got some very early details on 2.3. August 6th is the target date. Obviously, this is early, but it's subject to change. But some of the highlights...
it must be August 6th.
It must!
It has to be. That's exactly 8 weeks from June 11th.
It's written on
Otherwise, they're off their track. And then we'll have lots of people crying.
Yeah.
Don't look at me, Biden. I was trying to give you an out and say it's subject to change. August 6th is the date that they are set. Some of the highlights of the update include new flashpoints, always good. New daily areas, less good. Maybe a little less good. I don't know. Why does everyone hate dailies? Everyone. I think some people.
Actually, I don't mind them if they're short. If it's a new daily section, kind of like Black Hole, I would be okay with that because it's in a small area and it had little instanced places that you can go into, and I wasn't tripping over mobs every 5 feet. If I have to go back to something like Section X where I'm tripping over mobs every 5 feet, I'm probably not going to wear it. Or
wear it?
Wear it. Yeah, I'm not going to wear it.
Probably not going to wear it. Come on, every MMO just loves repeatable, boring grinds in exchange for cash. MMO players love this stuff.
If they had the returns of Ilum and Black Hole, I'd be all over it. The Ilum dailies have incredible returns. I mean, it takes like 15 minutes to do.
Short.
Yeah, it takes like 15 minutes to do, and you get, is it almost 200? No, it's 87 or something like that. I wrote it up, and I don't even have it in front of me. But it's really, you get excellent returns on it, and Black Hole gets excellent returns as well for the amount of time that you spend on it.
And again, you're not tripping over mobs every 5 feet.
Section X and McKeb, yeah, not even worth it. The only thing that McKeb's worth, if you haven't got basic comms, I guess that's the way to do it, is the McKeb dailies. But once you've got basic comms, yeah, don't.
Hey, this next one sounds really interesting. What do you guys think this type? I don't even understand what type of content this could be. What is a new recurring event is also on the way? What type of do you think this is like Gree on Ilum? Like, what type of content is this?
That's exactly what it sounds like to me. It sounds like another Gree event. Not Gree. Not that it'll be a Gree event, but it sounds to me like it'll be an event similar to that one that comes in and out
As long as
At
it's not
whim.
the Chevin event again. That was such epic fail. Seriously, BioWare, if you were listening to this, that was horrible. Please don't ever subject us to that again. Fail.
That was
Wow, not pulling any punches. Not even.
no. I wrote about it. I wrote about the Chevin
Yes, the
event.
Raccoon event was awesome.
Yeah,
We
Raccoon
could definitely
event was
bring that
awesome.
one back. The Chevin event, horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Laura, tell me how you really
Standing
feel.
in line.
What did you really think?
I can't
Standing in
stand
line.
the air, Gary.
Finally, on the list here, graphical updates. Significant, I should say. Significant graphical updates. So everybody cross your fingers on that one. We'll see. I have to say, I really, I'm liking this, like, BioWare really kind of giving us a really far look into the future about what's going on several months ahead of what's actually happening.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this.
If they keep up with it and it actually occurs. If this is something that gets down the road and they're suddenly like, oh, yeah.
We'll find out August 6th.
Oh, we
Ooh,
lost
Laura derped out.
Laura.
We're
There
going
she
to
is.
have
There she is.
So let's
Am I
talk about some PvP. You're back.
You're back.
You're back.
Yay.
BioWare actually care about PvP, apparently. They really do. Who would have thunk?
That's what they say.
They say. Senior producer Bruce McLean crushed Larry's hopes with this quote. He said, "We are listening and do care. For what it's worth, I'm a PvPer too. PvP is one of our priorities, and we are not going to do away with it. I'm not a big believer in making excuses and can understand why it might feel like we're not focused on PvP." You're right there, Larry. They're not going to do away with PvP. Maybe this is why you don't have chat bubbles.
that's probably it. That's it.
Seriously though, I mean, I don't think BioWare's going to let it die.
I don't think so either. I never really wanted them to let it die. I just think that they, well, let's face it, they just
like online
really need to
support.
test it a lot and make sure that, make sure that they listen to what the PvPers are saying. Yeah. I do think, though, that they should go back to what they had before.
Have we heard from
It
Gabe
worked a little
at
better.
all?
I don't know. Does he still work at BioWare?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm wondering. I haven't talked to him, and I haven't seen a quote from him. I don't know. Does anybody know? Is he gone?
I don't know. Maybe that's why it all
Mystery.
fell apart.
Who knows?
Maybe that's why they had the Gree event.
Bruce explained why we're not going to see any major PvP updates until 2.4. He said PvP and class balance are the same team of guys. It makes sense that the designers working on one also work on the other. This means that raising the level cap to 55 for Rise of the Hutt Cartel last month and redoing all of the talent trees for all classes and extending the PvP game to level 55 and redoing the PvP gear for Rise of the Hutt Cartel has kept them busy. So I'm not a developer, but does it make sense that PvP and class balance are the same team?
I'm going to say no. I mean, working together, yeah, but that seems like a lot of work to put on people and not be able to focus on.
I get the logic.
Other
I
areas.
definitely get the logic here. I mean, obviously class balance is critical to PvP, but yeah, I mean, I kind of would assume that they would have been separate teams and that they, like you said, the PvP team would be working directly related and closely with the class team, but I was actually surprised to read that they're one and the same.
I mean, especially because I feel like PvPers haven't really gotten a lot of love. I mean, when was their last patch? When Hypergate was added, and what was that, back in December? We still have nothing, and they're not really going to get anything until 2.4, which is not going to be till, what, September or possibly October? I mean, that's 10 months with basically no content for them.
Oh, wonder why people think it's dead. Wonder why people think it's dead. 10 months.
Why do you think people are
nothing.
leaving and don't want to play?
Yeah.
I
And
wouldn't play
on
either
top
if
of
you were
that, I
telling
mean,
me you get nothing for 10 months.
Yeah. I know that, I mean, there's a lot of class balancing involved in PvP, But I think one of the things, and you kind of notice that with the Rise of the Hutt cartel, that it. Oh, no, actually, what we really noticed is whenever we went to the stun that was 10 feet on Sorks and things along that line, we noticed that, oh, you know what? It looks like PvP is driving class balance. That means because it kind of gimped us in a lot of ways on the PvE side. And so it's quite evident that PvP is the driving force behind all class balance, or at least the large majority of class balance. And I, as somebody who's not really interested in SWTOR PvP, that upsets me just a little bit.
Yeah, who is at this point, really? All right, Bruce finished up by this. He said, now that Rise of the Hutt cartel is behind them, they don't want to just service PvP by adding another war zone to the rotation. They want to address PvP with a meaningful update. We've given them the go-ahead to do this, and that's why the big PvP features are several months out. And by several months, I think as we can all speculate, I would say is probably around 4 more months. That's probably what I'm going to guess, that you're probably going to at least have to wait for that. August 6th, the target date for 2.3. So probably looking at September or October for...
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's a long time. It's a long time. It's a risky strategy. I mean, I can't imagine the PvP fans, like we said, are happy, or how many of them are actually even left. I mean, is it really just become a completely just casual like thing to do and just kind of like kill some time when you want to do something different right now? Because it's just, I can't imagine like there's a lot of competitive people still PvPing in SWTOR.
We have almost no competitive PvP going on our server. I know if you read our server forum, most of the really hardcore guilds are already talking about how they, as soon as server transfers are implemented, how they plan to be picking up and leaving for either Bastion or Prophecy of the Five. So, I mean, I can't blame them.
But what would you guys expect? So if we're not going to get just another war zone in 2.4, if that's not what we're really expecting for 2.4, what are we going to get? What's going to be this big thing?
The only thing I can think of is that it's going to be a return focus to open world PvP, because right now that's another epic fail.
Oh my god!
What else are they going to put? We have Outlaw's Den, which nobody goes to, or you have the fail that's Ilum that has one little donut section in the middle of it. I mean, they said we don't want to just stick in a new war zone. I mean, what are you going to give us, new maps? How is that meaningful?
I don't know. But man,
although,
going back to
if they are listening, I would really like a new, I would like a new Huttball map.
I don't know that they would do Ilum, obviously, but some other kind of. I kind of agree. I do believe that it'll be world PvP, or at least let's say persistent PvP zone. But I'm without a third faction involved, I'm kind of concerned of how they're going to balance everything out.
I just don't get that. Because, how do you, both of you guys are on the same page for some sort of open world persistent PvP, and I'm going the opposite way, going like, man, if that, that's the last thing I would be trying to work on right now, because they never got it right. Like, at least with Huttball and some like structured PvP stuff, they got the fun factor there, right? Maybe. Like Huttball is awesome as far as a fun, so they got something there. Ilum is a fucking disaster. Like, just blow it up already and get rid of it. It's not even worth it. Why would you spend that much time on that?
Maybe something. Maybe I definitely see something larger happening. That's why I say open world or persistent world kind of PvP thing. It's definitely got to be a larger scale, because people have been, clamoring for some sort of large scale PvP, and beyond 16 man. So we're probably talking about something that's multiple objectives, something that can be done over time. They really want something different. They don't want the arena stuff anymore. They don't. You don't think that
they might just like focus on trying to get it right in general? Just like the big update is we're gonna get it right. We're gonna get some balance right. It's gonna be fun.
You know what? The big update is probably going to be a new Huttball map.
Oh God.
Like,
I mean, I would love.
We're gonna have 10 months waiting for new, exciting, fun PvP, and we're gonna get a brand new Huttball map. That's exactly what it's gonna
be. That'd be awesome, but not a a year awesome, 10 months awesome.
I wonder if there are people on the team just being like, man, I wish we could just cut this cancer right out of the game and just be gone with it. But then there's like other people going like, you can't have an MMO without PvP. What are you, crazy? We can't go to.
I
We can't
wouldn't want them to get rid of it. I mean, I enjoy PvP. Like I said, I'm not great at it, but I love going in there and picking people off on my sniper or going in on my operative and getting up in your face and backstabbing you. I don't want them to take it out. Just make it fun.
Make it fun, BioWare. Make it fun.
Make it fun.
It's the hardest thing possibly known to man. Make it fun. Yeah. All right, last week you guys told me that the collections UI was good last week, and you're wrong, and you both suck. So if you don't own the full sets of items, you can't unlock it in collections.
Well, all right. So all those little random things that you get in the lottery packs, the like not specific armor that you can buy. Apparently, they decided that when they started putting this collections UI together, they realized that we have over 9,000 random pieces of shit that we...
What, 9,000?
Yeah, over 9,000. And when they started trying to put in each individual item, they're like, oh my god, we're going to have like 100,000 pages of random stuff for people to unlock. So they're like, well, it makes more sense if we just group everything together in a set and say, hey, good luck collecting the set. But
okay,
I agree,
but
it's really ridiculous.
So say I bought a set last month, and I didn't like the gloves, and I sold them. I can't put my outfit in the collections UI.
Yep, you're screwed.
Yeah, you have to go. You have to buy it off the GTN.
Okay, bit of an oversight. Slight.
Yeah, I think that's stupid. I don't know who did their internal testing for that when they started planning it out, but that is absolutely ridiculous. And you're right, it is laid out terribly. It's very, very hard to find things unless you know what pack it was in, and then you can go search it by the pack through like 12 pages of junk.
Well, Davey,
I'll tell you, I don't see that part of it, the set part of it, as being that huge a deal. It does irk me a little bit that the ones that are pack oriented aren't separate. Like, for instance, the Revan outfit, let's say, that because those are sold in the in the lottery packs, those should be separate pieces, because really the chances of you having every single piece is quite unlikely. Whereas ones that are sold in sets, I don't mind that so much. Like the Vindicator's outfit, that's fine. Sell that one in a set, because that you bought that one in a set. And if you happen to not like the gloves and you sold them, sorry.
Sorry.
I think that's a fringe issue where whereas when the lottery packs are having individual pieces from the lottery pack, that happens a lot more often.
Well, here's David Schubert had to say.
Yeah.
He said, we're in the process of evaluating other options that would allow us to give players the functionality that they want, while at the same time address the very real technical and GUI or GUI concerns that we face with our initial architecture of the system. He says, unfortunately, no option that we come up with is likely to be doable very quickly. On top of solving the technical problems, we also need to now deal with ensuring anyone who purchases the collected items with the current system end up being correctly credited if we convert something over. As such, I have no ETA for when we will address this. So I gotta say it. I'll ask you too. Was it rushed out too fast?
Probably. I think the other thing is not very good.
And the other thing a lot of people are asking for, right? No search functionality is another issue that a lot of people are
that is the worst. That is the worst thing. I mean, yeah, I do think that, okay, was it pushed out too early or too fast? Yes, and the simple answer is because it never, ever was on the test server. Ever. And so, therefore, nobody from... the only people that ever tested it were internal. And, I mean, not that those guys are bad, but they don't see everything. They don't see things like the thousands of people that jump on the test server will see. and 10 people don't equate to 1,000 people, just because of the number of eyes that are on it. And they would, and I, because one of the first things we noticed was we can't find anything on this freaking thing. How do you know if you have it or not? Because there's no search functionality.
It just seems bizarre. It just the whole thing kind of seems weird. I mean, they put the collections UI out in basically a limited state. It's got missing features that they had known that players would want. So fair enough, technical problems, but now they have to fix it, and apparently that's even harder. It doesn't really sound smart, and I'm wondering, like, are a lot of people just like sort of getting a little sketchy and antsy about like even just the quality control, the QC on the game?
You forgot to mention also that you have to equip all of the equip all of the items on one character before it will unlock. You can't have them spread over multiple characters, which I discovered.
Yeah.
That was not cool.
I think I'm just going to move on.
And somebody said in chat that you should just be able to highlight the item that you have. They won't do that. If you don't have all of the pieces put together, then it won't unlock any of them, no matter what piece you have. So if you're missing gloves or belts and bracers, that is the worst part, trying to find all those, because most people were just, I don't know, I was destroying them when I got them. I wasn't even trying to sell it because they just didn't sell for anything. Of course, not they're selling for millions of credits, but that was probably bad on my part. But yeah, nobody wanted them. So that was kind of waste.
Yeah. Like I said, I think if they had put this thing on PTS, then I'm not saying that we wouldn't have these problems, but at least we would know that BioWare got the word. Yeah.
I'm moving on.
Move on. That's it. That's a good idea. Let's do that.
I've got more.
Anytime we talk about anytime we talk about QA in this game, right? Anytime, it's just like
it just makes me wonder. It makes me also start to question and wonder like how small the teams are now and who's actually working on the game. Like I wonder if it's like, there's I would love to know. I no idea at this point like how big the team is, if things are being outsourced. Like it just seems kind of it's questionable. It's questionable.
You're gonna call up and get those people from India.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of games do like start outsourcing, to other facilities in other countries and stuff. And I don't know. Moving on. I got more good news and I got some bad news. So here's the good news: an exploit got fixed. The bad news is wrong players got banned. Zing. All right. So the update showed. This update showed up in patch 2.1. Are there any more details on this? Do we have any more details about what it was or what players were actually doing?
Yes.
What do you got for me?
There was a crystal. Well, actually, I think it's multiple crystals that were on the collections UI, QA again, that you were able to pull off the collections UI and then sell them to a vendor. So pretty much what somebody was doing was, because you can pull multiple items off the collections UI if you've already collected it. So people were getting these crystals, putting them on the collections UI, and then pulling them off and selling them to vendors and making lots and lots of credits.
Okay. So not as bad as the whole Neverwinter debacle. It just kind of went down.
No.
But,
not that bad.
But it still sounds pretty bad. They had 7-hour rollbacks and all that kind of stuff. So it's all fixed now. About 150 players were wrongly banned for this in BioWare. Very, 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 very sorry.
Yeah,
a little compensation should have been in order, but
I think, we did have something. We didn't have anybody in our guild that was banned, but we do know somebody that was wrongly banned, and the people that had. It was understandable why they thought that those guys were doing the same thing, because one of the guys had multiple. Like his inventory full of crystals, but they were crystals that he had made, and he had also made a whole bunch of credits recently. So, yeah, it's possible that's why some of the other 150 similar things had happened. Where they had a bunch of, they were artificers and they had a whole bunch of crystals in their inventory, and they were making hand over fist, making money and that sort of thing.
All right, last up for today, I've got a quote here. about paid character transfers. I've got to double check this. Seriously, we still don't have these yet? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Hey, guess what's causing the problem with character transfers?
What's that?
Yes. Just take a guess. We already talked about it.
QA technology. What?
The collections UI.
Oh. Of course. Who doesn't know that?
It's a collection show. Because when you do a character transfer, all of that stuff oh no, I'm sorry, it's achievements, not collection UI. Similar, but not exactly the same. So when they put all the achievements in there, it caused some because all of those achievements transfer with that character, and so that's just more math that they have to calculate it, and it was causing issues with the character transfers.
Math is hard, Lara. Math is
hard.
Yeah.
Math is hard.
All right, gang. Well, 139 episodes in, and we're almost there. We've got a quote from Eric Musco. Here it is. He says, as it stands today, our goal is to launch character transfers with Game Update 2.2. Now, as I noted above, we're still working through some things, so please note that this is just our goal and that it's entirely subject to change. So, June 11th, if all goes plan, do you believe?
I believe. I think they'll work through it. Honestly, I do.
I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. I want to believe.
You want to believe.
I want to believe. Actually, should we take bets now on how many cartel coins it's going to cost you?
Oh,
Laura.
I'm going.
Oh yeah, I went there.
1500. It's going to be. Hold on. I'll say 2,000.
Oh, that's low. No, it's going to be like 5,000. 5,000, somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000. That's what I would
over
expect.
9,000. Bob, one. Laura Williams, follow her on Twitter at VoidMynx, VoidMynx, and of course watch The Republic right here every single Monday at 6 PST. Yes, we'll be back to our normal live time very, very, very soon. Larry Everett, follow him on the Twitter at Shadow, SHADDOE. And go over to Massively and read the Hyperspace Beacon. What you got going on this week on the Hyperspace?
I am. I just finished talking about Chapter 1 on the free-to-play experiment. Got another week of that, then I might skip a week, and then I'll finish it up soon.
Check it out.
Yep.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Gary Gannon. Follow GameBreaker TV at GameBreaker TV. And if you haven't checked it out yet, check out our brand new site in addition to GameBreaker.tv. And it's called FreeToPlay.tv. Check it out. There's a bunch of free-to-play games over there. Check it out. And we're, I don't know if there's even time left. There might be a little bit of time left. We're giving away a awesome video card, GTX 670. You might want to head on over there and enter. Yeah, you've probably got hours. I don't think there's much time left. FreeToPlay.tv. Go over, check it out, enter to win the GTX 670, and check out a game while you're there. Like I said, we'll do the show live on Mondays at 6 PST, and we'll be back next week for some more Star Wars: The Old Republic action. Have a great weekend, guys. Talk to y'all next week.
Later.